Hello, beautiful people. Happy full moon. Wow, what an energy and what a rejoicing. I've been a long time not present for my people, for my community, for this channel, for the world. I was in a sabbatical. I was on a little island south of Egypt in Aswan, in a kind of a placenta space, a womb space between two dams, the old dam and the new dam. And I was on an island between, like in a little, on a little space that is called the forest. There were only forest of boulders and dragon rocks and the water, the Nile water. And I had a little kitten and a little puppy, Kemet and Kemes. We three, we were living in deep harmony with each other, which is in itself a deep appreciation and a gift of this sabbatical. Most of you know that the illness, the severe illness that I had with my trigeminals has stopped me in my tracks 3 years ago, actually on my latest pilgrimage to Egypt and to the temples. And then after a year or so, the physical hold entered into a mental hold where I was trying to revive my business and it didn't work. So that was the mental death period where I realized that I cannot hold this space, I cannot dock in to my old life. There was a rebirthing. I wrote my book, Quantum Leaps and Lost Socks. I created this channel. I tried to be the old Ima, the the recovered Ima, but it didn't work. So I went into the sabbatical into Aswan back home as a lost daughter after 40 years of nomading this world. And the Nubian people and the Nubian community, especially on Heissa Island, has embraced me and has held me in her heart. And they called me Kindaka, like the one who is sharpening her sword. And they use that name for, like for women and girls whom they actually very much admire. So I felt like a daughter of the land coming back home. But everything else halted. Of course, I had groups coming for emergence because I was full, like a mama full of milk, of course, like Hathor full of milk. So I had a few activations and emergence and healings. Sessions and retreats, half-day retreats, and it was very interesting to see that I'm still functioning somehow, but emotionally I retreated more and more into a deeper space. And this is where I want to talk to you about, because in all of our human imaginations, there is this Shambala, there is this paradise. In our language is the Jannat, full of hurriyat, and there is a space or a time or a condition before the warning, before the cataclysmic events, before the like the catastrophes, before the suffering, and it is not nostalgia that I'm talking about. It's not like, like I can pray 5 times and I think that I will be going to like to the paradise after my death. No, I'm talking about this deep immersion inside of your own universe, multiverse here, like because there are, like many systems, subtle systems, the cellular system, the molecular system, the DNA system, the organic system, the lymphatic system, the fluid system, the fascia system, like that I am inquiring into and embodying at this very moment. It's all bringing you deeper and deeper and deeper if you travel, if you dare to travel, because it's not easy. I cannot tell you that I had a sabbatical of nice time, with my cat and dog and with, like with my neighbors. No, it was a very harsh time as well, because I had to operate inside of a very enclosed system of the Nubian people with their own codes and traditions and images about me and way of conducts and codes that I had to learn. I had to go to school, like to first grade school, to learn all of this and all of that, adapting and moving inside of that little community that is a very big community in her heart and in their way of how they embraced me. But then what I'm trying to show you here, especially on this full moon that is a Scorpion full moon, that everything is really like amplified about like about our emotions, and I had an emotional death in that retreat. In that sabbatical time, like everything moved from the physical to the mental to the emotional, because I was stripped of everything that I know about myself, the imagination that I had about my relationships, about my being in this world, about me as an oracle, as a filmmaker, as a cultural diplomat, as like list all of my titles as a Akashic reader, as a seer, as a clairvoyant, like as a sensitive being, as a healer, stripping off, stripping off, stripping off, stripping off. And it's not an easy process. It's not at all an easy process. But what is happening here is that you dare to sit in the fire, like, and you dare to transmute, you dare to be in the sun, like, and my book on Volleya was called Neseret Aset Meret Ra, the flame of Aset, the flame of Isis, and the beloved of Ra. And I had a lot of this burning sun in Aswan, on my island, on my little island, Heissa Island. But what is really eminent here is that once you decide to go through this, and you enter all of these adventures inside of you, like by being really more and more quiet, more and more defying, like defying the resistance of what this is going off of me, this is stripped off of me, this is so hard, this is so, like, what is my identity, who am I, where am I, like, what is going on here? When you just release all of that and go into the burning process, into the rebirthing process, then you can go in a kind of an more inner and inner and inner space. It's almost like these Russian dolls, like uplifting all of these, like all of these layers, archaeological layers of resistance and of being someone, being something, having a mission, having a vision, like, and then suddenly you are in that tender space, and you are suddenly in that paradise, in your deep paradise, in your deep Jannah, in your deep Shambala, where you discover or uncover, or you are in awe, you are very tender, very raw, like very raw as well, very almost like a child, almost like an innocent girl. And you are almost, like you are almost uncovering a space that have been there all along. Like the sensational, the somatic experience is that it is very familiar and very strange, very uncomfortable, very, very unsettling, to be suddenly in harmony, to be suddenly in harmony with the waters of the Nile, the lapping of the waters coming to the shore, suddenly so happy that your cat is on your thigh while you are listening to the birds and to the burning sun, and then your dog is running around, and like, and they are playing together, or sometimes they just caress themselves, or they're just sitting around you, and everything is so quiet and everything is so aligned. And it is so scary. It is so scary that you have that beautiful moment of alignment. You have this beautiful moment of deep, sheer beauty and sheer fullness and overflowing of happiness, of joy, rejoicing, in deep gratitude. And then also gratitude, it's almost like an overflowing fountain. I don't even have words for this gratitude. And then the miracles find their home in you. And it's, like, I talked a lot about alignment, but that alignment, that existence of that Jannah, that Shambala, that deep, deep space of harmony, of paradise inside, deep inside of you, is existing absolutely, absolutely inside of all chaos, inside of all harshness, inside of all the tough moments that I had, the fights that I had with myself and my neighbors and my boundaries, and like, and the world is getting crazier and crazier, and then the war news came into the space. So inside of all of that, like the storm of the tsunami is the cyclone of your utmost being. And I invite you today to really sit for a moment, just a few seconds or a few minutes, maybe an hour, at the water side, like in your office, wherever you are actually, and just get into that breath, because it's the breath that is carrying you. It's your vessel, it's your traveling vessel, it's your breathing. And then you are not controlling anything. You're just like traveling, teleporting with your breath inside of yourself, inside of your multiverse of all of your systems, to uncover, to arrive at, not even arriving, to slide into that space of absolute core of being, the holographic being. Be well, beloved, be well. And I do feel that this is the work to be done, to find that Shambhala, to find that paradise, to find that Jannah deep inside of you.